Hey, welcome to Cabin Fever. I'm Jake Berry, and tonight I've got from Edinburg North High School head coach of the football team, Damian Gonzalez. Damian, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Coach, you got the hands behind you with the Cougars, and you're Cougar through and through. You've been there with the baseball program. You were there as an OC before, and you came back and you're a head football coach there. You know, how happy were you with when that happened?
I was ecstatic. I mean, I welcomed the opportunity. It's something that I'd been, I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of people. When I first started there at North, my goal wasn't to be a head coach. My goal at the beginning was to be an OC. I knew I was destined to be an O-line coach. I had done it forever. I had volunteered there at North while I was going to school. And there's one thing you left out too is that I graduated from North as well.
Oh, that's right.
When that school first opened, I was a junior there at North. So my roots are deep there. We've really entrenched ourselves there. My family and I. So we've got really deep roots there in North. So you know, when I became the OC, I started saying, hey, you know what, this is something that, is a distinct possibility if things happen later on down the road, obviously Coach Garza, I've always looked up to him. He was the head coach at the time. And, I enjoyed working with him. I mean, he's been a big mentor of mine. I've been there, every step of the way with him, starting BO Garza when it first opened back in 99. And then, eventually working my way up with him. So, I was extremely happy when the opportunity came up and I was named the head coach there at Edinburg North High School.
Now, when you became the head coach of Edinburg North, and you know how it is in Edinburg, we kind of cannibalize each other. And I say that as somebody that was in the district for 12 years. Everybody's kids are moving back and forth. You kind of got saddled with, you had to rebuild, plus you had kids going all over the place. What was that like to have to come into a program, try to keep kids, and then try to build up?
It was tough. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was easy. It was hard. Anytime that there's, a change of the guard in any type of situation, whether it's in a business, or a program like Edinburg North High School, there's going to be some resentment. There's going to be some people that kind of question, hey, is this going to be the right fit for me or whatnot? But, what helped me, I think the most was that when I took over the head baseball team, when I was the head baseball coach, when I took over that program, I experienced it, there. We lost all our infield. We lost our pitcher and one of our outfielders that transferred to another school, all in a group. And so I went through it. So that kind of helped me. But, the biggest thing with me was that, we're going to hit the ground running with what we had. Regardless of the type of talent we had or whatever. The biggest thing with me was to build relationships with the kids. And that's something that I've always, hung my hat on is, be good with the kids. And at the end of the day, the kids are going to work hard for you and they're going to play for you. And that's something that we've always done there at North. Like I said, I've been there a really long time.
Hey, you guys had a tough road last year. 3-8, 3-3 in district though, and you make the playoffs, and that had to feel good from where you started to making the playoffs.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it was amazing. I told the kids when I first took over. I remember the first day I said, "Guys, I'm not your typical coach. I'm an online guy. I'm gonna be tough. I'm gonna be on you all, but I'm also one that's really upfront. I don't sugarcoat things for the kids. I tell them exactly where we're at. Whether it's good or whether it's bad. And I told them that we were in for a long road. I told them, but one big thing that I told them is that I told them that we had a plan. We had a plan to getting back in the playoffs. We had a plan to getting back to the dominating team that we used to be back in the day. Not just when I was there, but we Edinburg North has had, just like every other program's had, hills and valleys. We've been up to the top and we've been down at the bottom several times. And but I told them, just you all need to trust the plan, trust the process that we're having there, that we had in place. I told them by no means was it going to be easy. It wasn't going to be easy at all. but if they continued to work hard, they were going to reap a lot of benefits from it. And I told them, I said, year two guys, I know we can be in the playoffs if you all continue to work. And granted, the record wasn't great, but you look at the types of games that we played, the types of games that we were in. We had a lot of teams on the ropes the second year, which is this past year that we finished up. We had leads late in games that for whatever reason we just let slip away, or we were in tightly contested games late in the third, early in the fourth, and just we couldn't close them out. And part of it was just maturity on the kids. Again, we start my first year there, we played with nothing but sophomores, and last year they were all juniors, and you could see the gradual progression of the experience, the maturation, and not just mentally but physically. The one thing that we tell the kids every day is just trust the process. Trust the process that we have there at North.
Now, you talked about, second year you make the playoffs. When you first came in, a lot of coaches, they'll draw it up on the board. Look, first year, we're going to have growing pains. We're going to get this is our goal record.
Mm-hmm.
Second year, this is our record. Did you have it in 2 years, or were you looking 3 years? Because a lot of coaches say there's a 3-year growth period.
A lot of people say it's a 3-year growth, but when I got there and I saw what we had, I said, we can get in next year, guys. I said, first year, I thought it'd be really, really tough just because of the fact that the district we were in was, it was horrendous. You talk about battling week in and week out, and we're not even talking about, playing, young teams. We're talking about playing men. So we were going up with a bunch of sophomores against teams that, like Westaco East, Westaco Vela, that, senior loaded teams that with a lot of experience under their belts, and now I'd like to say that, we're that team, we're the team that's got a lot of experience. We're the team that's gotten bigger and stronger, and it shows. So I firmly believe we could be in the playoffs that second year. And I told a lot of people, some people doubted me, some people, said, hey, I think you're still a year away. But the kids believed, and it goes back to building relationships with the kids and making sure that they understood, hey, this is the plan, this is the process, keep working. And they bought in.
Now you're going to enter your third year. What's the team look like for next year?
We're looking pretty good. Like I said, we're a senior heavy team. I think we've got something like 52 seniors, 53 seniors on the team. And I was talking to Coach Garza the other day. He goes, dang, D. He goes, we never had that many in the heyday that we had there at North. We never had 52 kids that were graduating. Usually on a good year, you want to have 35, 37 kids graduating. But we're at 52 right now. And, those are kids that have stuck through with the program. They're the kids that have bought in. They're not kids that we've let in, that we let in just in December or January. They're kids that have, worked their tail ends off to get where they're at right now,
Now, last year, you guys you had some sensational catches at the receiver spots. What's it look like? Are you guys going to be airing it out again, or are you going to look to more balance?
Well, I'm a running guy. And that. If I can run the ball every down, we'll do it. But, we've got a pretty good quarterback, and actually we have several quarterbacks that are pretty darn good. Wideouts, obviously, we're going to lose a little bit of height and speed with Sergio and Brendan on the outside. They were both 6'2", Sergio a little bit closer to 6'3". But, we've got a 6'5", 6'6" receiver that's a freshman, and he's got a chance to be really, really good. We've got Miguel Contreras still coming back, our little slot receiver. And he's not so little anymore. He's a good-looking dude. He's a guy that we're looking at possibly, putting in the backfield as well. He can play multiple positions for us. So we've got some guys, we've got some dudes that can, run and catch. And the biggest thing with them is they run really good routes. But, so if you're asking me what we're going to do, I'd like to say we're going to be pretty balanced because of the fact that, we've got a good nucleus, a good core of receivers to go along with a good offensive line. We those guys, again, they're molded into the type of guys that we want, where big, we're strong, we're athletic. I mean, you're gonna see the type of lines that we had when I was running the old line. Now, they're big dudes, and but the biggest part is that they're athletic. They're big and they're strong, but they can move.
I have to ask this because a lot of people, especially the amount of talent you have when you're coaching baseball. How does it match up to now being the head football coach? Like, you had so much talent in baseball at one point. Like, how did you find that transition to coaching football, and especially when you were trying to build up that talent again?
Well, a lot of it has to do with, I mean, those guys didn't come in that way. Obviously you had guys like Carlo Servin and Saul and Alex Cano. I mean, they were big already, but they also worked. And one thing that I did with the group, with our team, as we started this whole thing, is I'd have them come in every chance they had, when they were down for vacation, when they were down on break, hey, come talk to the guys, and they too would see them out there. They'd be on the field running. They'd be out there hitting. So they saw it too, that not just were they good, they also put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into becoming that type of athlete. And that's one thing I'd like to say right now about our guys, is that they've seen that, they've been exposed to that, and they're doing it themselves. I mean, I have to get these guys out of the weight room. It's like, hey, you guys got to go. You did what you needed. No, coach, let me get another set in. No, get out. Yeah, I have to run them off. We have to run them off the football fields. We got a soccer team that's practicing, and our coach is like, hey, those guys are throwing foot. I said, get them out of there. I mean, they love the sport. They're investing a lot of time in it, and it's having those guys, guys like them, really come in and talk to these guys and show them and telling them, hey, this is what it takes to get to where we're at. A lot of those guys have bought in. They've really bought into what we're serving over there.
Now, you brought up somebody, and I did want to talk to you about this person, this player of yours from the baseball team, and it's Saul Garza. Did you see, because when you were his head baseball coach, did you see him having this great of a college career? Because it was sensational.
Yes, I can honestly tell you that. I know there's a lot of coaches that, you see a kid and it's like, it takes him a little while to develop. I remember when his brother Sammy was, I believe, a sophomore. He comes out. Sammy comes out. Sammy's a really good baseball player. Then I see this kid walk in, and I'm like, dang, who's that? I said, I remember talking to Coach Gonzalez. I said, hey, Coach, that kid over there. I said, he's a good-looking kid. At that time, he was probably 6', 6'1", and he wasn't developed the way he is now, but saw him, running around out there just on the side, saw him throwing the ball, saw him hitting the ball. So I said, dang, I said, hey, son, who are you? Oh, my name's Saul Garza, my brother Sammy. I said, good Lord, what grade are you in? Are you a freshman? He goes, no, Coach, I'm an eighth grader. As an eighth grader, I remember telling his dad, I said, this kid could play for us right now, but again, that's what I'm talking about, is he did those things. He was there after practice hitting with his brother. He was there, throwing the ball around with his brother. They have a batting cage at home that they actually just set up the other day, again, because they had taken it down, because obviously he didn't need it anymore because he's at LSU. But, he invested a lot of time in there. And so, yeah, to answer your question, yes, there's no doubt in my mind that kid was going to be a really good one.
All right, my last question is this. Edinburg North has been blessed with size. Now, some of the size went to Vela, it just happens. Mm-hmm. You guys have had, you had Ansel Dua before. You've had some big hogs there. Do you have anything coming up the pipeline?
Yes, sir. I mean, we've got Ernie Sustaita. I mean, right, the kid joined powerlifting this year, and he's made tremendous gains in the weight room. I mean, he's gotten big, he's gotten strong. The kid's about 6'2", 6'3", and he's at 297 right now. Well, I don't know about right now. He's probably more over 3 with this layoff. But right before we left for the break, he was fixing he was on the verge of qualifying for the regional meet in powerlifting. He wasn't going to get there, but this is his first year in powerlifting. I mean, the kid's a monster. He's big. We've got another one, Jacob Pies. That's a pretty good sized kid. He's also a senior. He's 6'2", about 250, 260. You know, and again, plays basketball, plays baseball. So he's an athletic kid. You know, he moves around well. Um, we've got a bunch of sophomores. Our sophomore group is really, really good. You know, they're big. You know, we got several guys that are pushing 6'1", 6'2", and they're along the same body mold and style of the other two. You know, they're big, they're athletic, but they're in year 2 of our program, which, you know, next year we're going to depend on some of those dudes to really, you know, step up and work hard, you know, and contribute to our program. I can tell you right now that there's 2 that are good. We got 2 freshmen that are well over 6 foot, that are going to be good ones, you know. So they're going to replace these other guys that are leaving. And, you know, again, same type of guys, you know. I don't know if you remember Mike Morales, you know,
Yeah.
back in the day, Edgar, gosh, I can't remember his last name right now. But, you know, those were our 2 bookend tackles and they're along those same body molds, and they're going to be our 2 tackles of the future, you know. So we've got a good group of linemen. I mean, when I took over, we had, I think, 13 or 14 linemen. You know, and we're pushing 32 right now. So
Wow.
so we've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort. I mean, you know, and every football coach knows that, you know, games are one of the things. You know, you need that yard. You got to make that stop, you know, on 4th and goal or 3rd and 1 to force a punt, you know, whatever. Uh, Games are won in the trenches, and we've invested a lot of resources in there with those guys. We've invested a lot of time and effort with those guys because we know at the end of the day, those are the guys that are going to win us the ball games.
All right. I guess this is the last question. All right.
Right?
After an away game, who gets to eat first?
It's usually the defensive guys because they're in the front.
I
They
didn't
love
know.
us.
I
Offense
figured.
goes first on the way over there. Defense comes first on the way back. I guess they got the. You just probably gave away their secret.
Oh man, I thought you're, a former O line guy. I figured it'd be the Hogs,
Let
but
me tell
yeah.
you, those guys like to sit around in the dressing room and wait till everybody's gone. And let me tell you why, because they eat the leftovers. So everything that's left over after everybody's gone, they pick up. So they're not too, they're pretty smart.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me tonight. Tell me about the Cougars for this past year, and then this upcoming year. Best of luck, and I hope we started on time.
I hope so too. I've heard all sorts of things. We're starting early, we're starting late. I've heard all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, you know, TEA is going to decide and UIL is going to decide what's best for the kids, you know. So, but biggest thing is just make sure everybody's ready to go and away from this danger that we're experiencing right now.
Thanks a lot, Coach, and have a great rest of your week.
Yes, sir. I sure will. Thank you, Jake.